You're listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast, featuring all your latest iRacing news, driver interviews, race reviews, opinions, discussions, rumors, and much more. Now here's your host, Mike Ellis, and Sim Racing Chewy Side.
Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer, where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters: Chewy 55, Carlos, Jonas Hankins, Jeff Walton, Kyle Fleischman, and special guest, Dalton England. Hey, guys.
How's it going?
Hey.
Well, here we go. We're starting our first of a weekly rotation. We're going to try to do this podcast weekly. So hope you guys like it. We're going to record on Mondays and usually release on Tuesdays. So look forward on Tuesdays. Moving forward, we got special guest Dalton England join us for the podcast here at iRacers Lounge. Welcome, Dalton.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, no problem. How have you been a long-time listener, or how did you learn about the show?
Well, I've looked around in the forums, and I've had a few friends that have been on the podcast before, and I've took a listen and really took a liking to it. You guys do a great job, and it's just a pleasure to be a part of one.
Well, good. Glad you're here with us. Let's go through the interview portion of your joining us here. The first series of questions we have. But when did you start on iRacing, and how'd you hear about iRacing?
I started in February of 2010. I actually had a buddy of mine that was on the service for a few days and called me up and told me to come over to his house and try out this new game he found. And ever since that night, I went over there and tried it out, took a liking to it, and it was about a week later I decided to join the service and really haven't had any regrets since then.
That's a long-term membership there.
Yeah, it's 6 years now, I guess you could say. Really hasn't felt like that much, but yeah, it's been a good
That's
time.
longer than most, I would say. All right, well, cool. How often do you race these days?
I don't race official racing as much as I'd like to. I ran the first 8 races or so of NIS, the NASCAR iRacing Series, and I've took a break from official racing a little bit, and I've ran a league on the side, and I usually run that on a weekly basis if I have free time. But I try to race at least once a week, and if I don't have time, I'll try to fit in another race the next week.
Nice.
My car.
All right, so if you do run the official, you mentioned NIS, but nothing since, huh?
Yeah, I try to run the Class A Open Series, but other than that, not much.
Okay. What kind of equipment do you have as far as wheels and pedals?
I've got the standard Driving Force GT steering wheel and pedal set, nothing too special or fancy. It's been pretty old. I think it's about 4 years now I've had this one, so yeah, it's definitely old, just knocking the dust off of it since I haven't really ran much lately, but it still works great.
Good. What about your monitor setup or a computer?
Yeah, I've only got one screen. It's a small 15-inch screen. Just try to do what I can. It's
Yikes, that's tiny.
It's definitely tricky when you're in the big races, but I don't really have too much of a problem with it. I mean, having it for at least 5-6 years now, I've had it since I joined iRacing. It's I'm used to it by now.
Right. So you do run leagues. Do you have any that you're active in, or any leagues you want to mention?
Yeah, I run in IWCR. It's a truck and cup league on Friday and Saturday nights. Open setup. It's a lot of fun. Actually won the truck championship last season, and this season I've just been on a little part-time schedule, come and go when I can from real life. But it's a great league. There's about 40 guys each week in each series, so it's a lot of fun. Green flag racing, a few cautions, but you always got that in every league.
Do you have people going home because it's right at 40? I mean, or
no, it's a first come first served basis pretty much,
right.
And I don't think we've had a full field yet.
But close, it sounds like.
Yeah, very close.
And I noticed you have a great I rating, 54-13 in oval. What is the I rating over there at that IWCR? I've heard of that league. Are they, somewhere in the 3 to 5,000, or are they under 3,000? What is most of the drivers over there?
There's a few really good drivers, way better than me. Alan Buzz, DWC driver. It's a mediocre league. There's a few guys that struggle on a weekly basis. There's a few guys that are really good on a weekly basis, but it's a really good league, a lot of competition. So, every time you go into the race, you're not going to be running at the back, or you're not going to be dominating. It's always a lot of fun.
Well, you talk like you're a slouch out there, but your winning percentage as far as official oval, 16%. That's a pretty high number, actually.
Yeah, I believe I've reached 3,000 starts now in the service. I've really took a break over the past 2 years, somewhere around 250 starts combined in the last 2 years. So, most of those wins have came in lower classes, but in the Gen 6, I've won a good handful amount of races, and I just enjoy running good. I've had a few mediocre runs, but I'm just having fun. If I'm not getting wrecked, I'm having fun on the track. It's always fun time to race against friends, competitors, and even rivals.
Sure. All right. Next is, do you have any third-party software you run when you run iRacing? You have the tiny screen. I'm guessing not.
No, I don't.
Right. You really need additional screens for a lot of that kind of stuff. But all right. Well, and are you part of a team? A lot of us who run NIS anyway are in a team.
Yeah, I'm a part of Aero Precision Chassis Works. It's a great team. There's about 25 guys, but it's like a big family. It's somewhere I can go and call my second family, away from real life or away from iRacing. I can always rely on them for having my back, and it's just a lot of fun. A bunch of great guys. We actually have two in-pass drivers, Nathan Wise and Taylor Hurst. So it's always fun to run with them, and just see how they drive and learn from them. And because obviously I'm not in DWC or anything like that, so to learn from them, it's a lot of fun, and just try to compare and see how close I am to them.
Well, yeah, good job. Getting on one of those power teams, those big ones. You can learn a lot there, and if you have talent, you can certainly move up.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've enjoyed I think I've been here for about 5 months now, so it's been a lot of fun with the guys. It's just a great team. It's probably one of the best teams I've ever been with, and it's just it's a huge family. If something happens in one of our lives in serious matter, we're always there for that person, and that's what I love about them.
Nice. Yep. We have a great team over here at Team Tifosi as well, and we're not a big team like that. Don't have any DWC drivers or anything, but a lot of family stuff, like you mentioned too. Good friends. All right. Well, the final question we have is most memorable iRacing moment. What was it?
Whew, that's a tricky one right there. I probably have to say I ran for my Black Stripe, or I guess you could say in-pass license, DWC, in 2015. I think it was first season. I had a few really good races. I'd have to say probably the most memorable one would be Gateway Motorsports Park, winning the strength of field race of the week, where you can get the biggest points and the most amount. That was probably the one right there that has got to top the list, and if not that one, it's got to be Iowa. And just being so close to making pro with some great finishes, and that's probably the most memorable season and time I've had on this game.
Right. And boy, it takes a lot of dedication to go for that black license, doesn't it? And time and effort. And it sounds like you're pretty busy too with your work. And right now you say you're only racing once a week. So that's not really, is that on the plan in the future to, go towards that direction again, or?
I would love to, I believe it's 2 or 3 months is when the next next season or whatever you want to say, or series starts up to run for it. I'd love to. I'm getting back into the real life racing. It's kind of been a struggle so far this year, but hoping to get going here soon. So it's going to be if I can have enough time to do it. But I'd love to run for it, but I'm not going to make time for iRacing compared to real life. I'd just love to take a break from this for a little while and maybe come back and try for it next year or in the following years.
Yeah, it certainly takes some effort when you're going for that. But hey, you're on a good team, so and you've got some experience too. So hey, go for it. I would say if you can. Well, welcome to the iRacers Lounge. We're going to go through our topics. You're welcome to jump in wherever here.
Thank you.
The first one we're going to hit up is the Peak Race Antifreeze Series. Kenny Humpy wins at Charlotte, and dominating fashion as well, I understand, leading 168 of the 200 laps. And boy, doesn't that sound just like something like Martin Truex did?
Oh yeah.
Sounds like something Mike Skinner did in the trucks at Martinsville.
Crazy, huh? And boy, I mean, we haven't seen a run like that, I think, this year in the Peak where somebody dominated like that.
Yeah, that's pure dominance by Kenny.
Yeah, so it says here what happened at the end. The short story is Humpy and Alfala, along with 9 others, chose to stay on track for the shootout and hope their track position would overcome worn tires. So there was a late caution and so forth, but it sounds like he deserved it. He led all those laps, and all right. So that's Kenny Humpy. We've had him on the podcast before, and he's got himself a win at Charlotte. So congrats, Kenny. I actually hit him up on Facebook and said congratulations, I believe, after he was posting about it. But all right, Jeff, you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the 2016 iRacing World Championship GP results from round 8. I apologize if I get the names wrong. It would be Martin Krunk. He finished first with a 20.9 second lead.
Krunken.
Yeah. You got Greg Hutu in second, Graham Carroll in third. Be your top 3. And you got the standings right now would be Martin Krunk with a 288 lead on points. You got Greg Hutu followed by 275, and Oli Hakali, I guess, with a 241 points. Yep.
Yeah. I actually missed this race, so I don't have any commentary about it, unfortunately.
There was one driver, DeJong, I guess, believe his name. Second lap of his race, he says his car unexpectedly pulled right. He ran the wall and retired.
Oh, Mitchell DeJong?
His sim pros. And
he's the guy from California that runs the Rallycross for real. He's a real race car driver.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He does a good job over there and keeping up with the aliens, as I call them.
That was definitely a big lead there. He had a 20-so-second lead on it.
On the rest of the field, that is a good point there.
And Graham Carroll, he got his first his first podium in this series, I believe.
Nice. All right, so we'll keep watching that. See if Hutu can defend his championship. Kyle, what's up next?
Well, next on the docket would be the 24-hour race at Nuremberg Ring. I didn't participate in the event, but I know our team had a car there, and I'll turn it over to Carlos to talk more about that.
Well, shit. Let's see. Obviously, a long race. Tons of cars out there. Multiple classes. Let's see, we did pretty well. I ended up being the first driver to wreck, but everyone pretty much did the same thing. But we were in position to win that thing. late into the night, I guess. And I don't know. Really wouldn't know what to say about it. It was a crazy race. We were in the slowest car out there, which was the Mazda MX-5. So them cars come up fast. The Audis, them things were just ridiculously quick when they catch you. You don't know where, so you're not really looking out front. You're looking more in the mirror to see if these guys are going to kill you, because sometimes they will because they don't pay attention, but that's how it was in our split, at least. Anyways, it's fun. We all even though we had damage, we somehow got it fixed, and I guess I'll bring this up. A lot of people had issues with a bug of some sort to where you could get damage in the Mazda, but it would not fix it, even though it would say required, but it'd fix it, and then it would go away, and you go out there, and your freaking suspension's destroyed. So, hell, one of our teammates, I think it was Matt Boley, I think, one of our teammates wrecked it, and we were in position to win because the previous leaders had an issue earlier, and yeah, they were fighting that bug, and we were gaining laps here and there, and then it got to the point when we got damaged, we experienced the bug, I think, where it wouldn't fix completely, and we were just trying to, by the time we fixed our car, got around, them guys would be back out, so we could never gain anything on them at all, and ended up with a P2 finish.
So I have a question. Matt said something about they would go out and they would tow back in, and then they would go out again and they would tow back in again, and you kept doing it over and over. I didn't really understand that.
Yeah, I don't think that he meant that they gained time, like over them. It's just that we were out of time. That if they kept doing that, we were only gaining probably 20 seconds every time, and we needed a lot of that. We were 8 laps down, and that's why it would take like 6 laps to get 1 lap back.
Oh.
Because they would lose all that time, but apparently by the time we got around, we weren't really gaining enough to, to do anything about it.
So the leader in class, let me make sure I understand, was going out, wrecking, and then towing back every lap there at the end or something?
I don't know about that. I think they were trying to get it around, but they ended up wrecking, so they had to keep towing or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really see what happened there at the lead hours, but from what I saw, that's what was going on.
From what I got out of Matt was they were pulling out of pit road right as soon as pit road ended, stopped, towed the car back to pit road, and they were running faster lap times than the guys on the team running an actual lap.
Because the car was so damaged, probably. The tow was faster than a lap, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's what they would do.
So that's what I heard too, is something like that. They were going out, they were towing back every lap.
And I mean, hey, you did it to get a win, but I don't agree with that.
Yeah, it's probably protestable if you guys really wanted to push it. But hey, second place in class. Congrats.
I think that's all that was running.
Really good. And you were short on drivers, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, we had a guy who didn't show up, so we managed. I don't know, Matt really decided to do another stint or so. I don't know what else he said, but I think our newer, the teammates we found for that race, they helped out big time, and, that's what got us to the end.
Well, hey, good job, Carlos, for you managed this effort as team manager as far as scheduling and coordination and recruiting. You had to recruit drivers, and it was quite an effort. Really good job, though.
So what this bring into the 6 hours?
Well, that's down the schedule or down our list here, but you can talk about it if you want. But that's the next big endurance race, right? Watkins Glen.
Plan on running 2 cars there.
Yeah, and then with 6 hours, I think you'll probably get, and because everyone has the track, you'll probably get full team involvement.
Yep.
All right, so next up on our list, let's move on. iRacing put out a news blast on June 2nd. 24 sim racers are going to compete in the 12th and final round of the European MX Cup at Lime Rock Park in hopes of earning a ride in the real Global MX5 Cup car later this year. And so they had the race, and people have been selected apparently. So
So is
It's
this a
that-
lot like the Gran Turismo Driving Academy or something like that?
Well, yeah, you race in iRacing and you do well enough, you get promoted to a real racing event with it's a Mazda
Actually,
thing.
wasn't that very similar to Wyatt Gooden when he ran that Volkswagen series one day? Then he got a real life ride in one.
Yeah, this happens all the time.
All right.
Oh, it's happening again is what's going on. It looks like it's European Cup only, though. So
Yeah.
it might be slated for Europeans only. Yeah, so that goes into that one. Now we're going to go into NIS, NASCAR iRacing Series. And we had Pocono, as I call it. And we did, I'll mention my teammate Brad Wren, who's usually on with us but couldn't make it today. Brad, I have to apologize. I ran over him in the league race on Monday at Pocono in the tunnel turn. We were side by side. Well, excuse me, he was in front of me. We were side by side with two other cars. We were double wide going through there. And I just missed the braking point and ran over him. And it ruined his night. But apparently that I wasn't the only one to run over him. And he got ran over all week long and really had a bad week.
Yep.
So let's go through results. Jeff, how did you do?
We started the car. Everyone's complaining about being loose. We tried, and then to get us set Wednesday night, came out track temperature was 119. We hadn't seen that at all in practice rooms. I spun 3 times on my own, didn't hit anything, saved the car. Got on team chat with the guys and said, look, what can we start throwing at this car to try and make it better? With 40 to go, we got it better. I spun it the last time. I was moved all the way up to second place. We ended up getting a restart, a green, white checkered. The 3 cars in front of me stayed on old tires. Restart, they all spun tires and got squirrely. Went into turn 1, and they decided to make it 5 wide in the turn 1. So I finished 10th with 2 laps down. People don't know how to use the brake.
Yeah, that sounds pretty typical. What I've heard so far. Kyle, you've had pretty good results.
Yeah, I had a top 5 finish on Wednesday night. The setup that I'd put up in the team folder there ran real solid. I think what dominated for me in my split in particular was the fact that I was able to get into turn 1 a lot better. I had a later braking than most, so that allowed me to get off the turn pretty well. As far as the fixed series this week, had horrible runs. I ran 2 races there this week. Just couldn't get the hang of that fixed setup. So I think I ended up finishing last night with my best result of a 12th place finish, and I dropped 5 positions in the standings. So I'm still 4th place in the open, and I think I dropped to 8th in the fixed series.
Well, that's a good place to be in points at this point in the season. So keep that up, and yeah, nice top 5 for sure. Dave, I saw you join. Dave Smith, our only winner on the team last week, or here at Pocono. Congratulations. Oh, I can't hear you. I see you keyed up.
There we go.
Yep.
Well, I had the week I expected to have going into Pocono. I absolutely love Pocono. I led a bunch of laps there Wednesday in the open race. I tried doing the fixed. I had poor results. I didn't quite able to get the handle of that setup. But in the open, I was able to lead the second most laps, and I got the win. And then I turned around on Sunday morning, and I actually ran the Sunday morning open, and I took a different setup. I decided I was going to use Sunday as a bit of a test session for the fall race here at Pocono. So I went with a totally different setup, and it wasn't great. I had to make a couple of adjustments there throughout the duration of the race. I got it better. There in the late stages of the race, I got to the point, I led a couple laps, and I ended up actually losing the front end of the car there at the last run, and I lost the lead on the last lap. I just couldn't get it to go through the tunnel turn one more time for me. But I still had a good finish there. I finished second.
Wow, it sounds like a pretty good week for you.
Yeah, it was.
Well, congratulations, because almost everybody else really kind of had a bad time, it seems like. But boy, you got the win. That's great. How many NIS wins is that this year?
I believe that puts me.
5?
Yes, that is at 2. 2 NIS wins.
2. Okay.
For the Open series. I don't know what it is for the
I want to
fixed.
say 5 total is from what I remember, but
Yeah, like I said, here previously, I've dialed back to fixed. I felt like I was out of the running, so I wanted to focus on the Open, and I made a bit of a points gain this week. I'm currently sitting 4th in Open points.
nice.
But like I said last week, I was looking forward to Pocono. I always seem to do well there. I can normally hit on a good driving setup. I do have to say that the temperature change in the track, that threw me for a loop, and I struggled there for a while. I didn't end up uploading a setup for the team because I thought, in all honesty, everything I had that I worked on, I thought it was garbage. But it turns out it was garbage. It was just better garbage than everybody else.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, good run.
Thank you.
Let's look at the other side of the spectrum. Jonas Hankins.
It's not been too good the whole season, really, for me. Ever since this last update we got, but I ran the open side. I got wrecked out, and I think I got a 12th or something. But I didn't go into the fixed side. But I think the new updates getting ready to come out, and hopefully, it'll be a little better for me. But yeah, it's just been kind of struggling. I've been really struggling this season, and hopefully it'll turn around here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think you were on Wednesday with us, but you were out pretty early in the race. They got wrecked, huh?
Yeah, it was actually lap 1 or so.
Yeah, it was real early, huh?
Yeah, went in the first turn, and I guess they wanted to go 4 wide, and I didn't realize it was that many, wide. But yeah, I got into it, and it took me out.
Man, that's pretty bad, NIS race, lap 1, you're out, it's just like,
Yeah, this downforce deal is I'm really struggling with it. I know they trying to get it like the real cars and all, but I'm really struggling. I just can't get my head around it.
yeah, they're going to take more off, too.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry to hear that, Jonas. That was a tough pill to swallow on Wednesday, I'm sure. Some other teammates we'll talk about that are not here. Jose Pabon, unfortunately, his bad luck continues. He got a 22nd in open, 14th in fixed. He's getting wrecked out. It seems like late in the race at this point. It seems like in the last part of it, which is even more of a bummer because you run good all night and then get wrecked. Brad Wren got wrecked out every time he ran, but he did get a 14th in open and 26th in fixed. And then I wrecked him out of the league race, so insult to injury there. Brad Miller, he got 20th in open, 8th in fixed. Nice top 10 for Brad. I ran with him throughout the weekend, and he's a great teammate to run with. Carlos, you had 10th and 10th.
Yep.
You like those numbers? What do you think?
Well, at that point, I had to kind of settle for it because remember, we had the 24-hour race still, and I was already busy at this point, but I don't know. One thing I do want to talk about is the freaking number of cautions we've had lately in these races. I mean, they go good for the rest of the beginning of the race have actually been really good green flag runs. I'm not going to lie, but when people drive, like I'm showing on screen here, it's no wonder why cautions happen, I mean, just people drive over their heads, and I actually kind of did the same thing when I got into an old teammate of ours, which was Alan Pajari, and I did not mean to get into him. I actually felt really bad about it, but, it's racing. I had to kind of close the gap, but I didn't see him. Yeah, that's the one downside of having a freaking single screen monitor, you can't really see your surroundings. At least I can't. I don't know, 10th place, I'll take it. What was the one, an open? I think I lucked into that. The other one was fixed, and I was close to having 9th, almost by an inch or two, but yeah, I tried. It's actually a really good race, the one that the fixed was up until the last 15 laps, but up until that, I'm pretty sure I could have got 3rd, probably up to 3rd place, but a caution came out and made me have to do some desperate things with 2 tires, and that's when things got interesting. Either way, it was a fun week.
Carlos, you're talking about cautions. Our Wednesday night Pocono open race in the split I was in, we had 40 laps of cautions.
Out of how many laps total?
Out of 80 laps race,
half the race was under caution.
That's just bad.
It took us 10 times, I think, to get lap 1 done.
Yeah, you're in one of those lower splits, and those are almost comical.
And it's just so painful when you're under caution because it's so boring. It's so long.
Well, yeah, you were saying, Carlos, you wish you had autopilot for the caution.
Yeah, like a pit limiter, just have it do it on its own while you go to the bathroom or something.
Right, why not? I mean, they have that in the Teslas, where the cars drive themselves. It's real. I mean, why can't, it's kind of a neat idea.
I mean, I wouldn't want it. It's all right, but, that's an idea to put out there.
I made a joke. Hey, this is the one, I don't need to pit anymore the rest of the race. I've got enough fuel mileage. It said 120 laps to
You're probably right. You probably could have pitted on lap 12 or something and made it the whole way if you had that many cautions.
It was just ridiculous. I think it just goes back to give and take. Everyone's trying to win lap 1. Well, let's get some rubber on the track. Let's have some fun.
Well, you heard Jonas, 4 wide, turn 1, lap 1, and he gets wrecked out.
That's the way mine ended.
Yeah, I think the Sunday morning open race, I'm not exactly 100% sure what happened, but Matt Boley, one of our teammates, he got into something there at the very start of the race, and I think it was within the first 5 laps, if I'm not mistaken. So he ended up sitting on pit road for the next half hour, getting a new motor, and somebody actually commented on how quick he actually was for it being as damaged as he was. And I feel bad for Matt, because if he was that fast with damage, I got to believe he would have had an awesome run with a complete intact car.
Yeah, he's the one guy we didn't mention yet. Matt Boley finished 20th in open, and he had a 4th in the fixed.
I believe Matt can only do 1 race each a week, right?
Yeah, he has busy
on the same
schedule.
day, too.
And he helped on the 24-hour race, too.
Oh, yeah.
So kudos to Matt, top 5. Nice. So Pocono, any final thoughts there? Or let's talk about Michigan coming up.
Well, I'll give final thoughts to Pocono real quick. I can't wait to go back. I think I've got a good setup that I tried out Sunday morning that I'll be able to share with the team, and we'll be able to put together some good results. And then moving on to Michigan, another track I'm looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to get there and go fast. That place is going to be insanely fast this year with the new downforce package, I think, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think everyone's looking forward to Michigan. And Pocono, remember, we're back there in 6 weeks, which, by the way, Pocono shouldn't have a second NASCAR race, in my opinion.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Is 6 weeks apart? Come on, at least,
Well, yeah. Space them apart a
They
little
need
bit
to separate
better,
them like Dover.
If they separated them, I wouldn't have a problem. It's just like, weren't we just here? Every time we go to that second Pocono race, I'm just like, what?
I just wish the
Michigan's the
weather.
same way.
I wish the weather be more realistic. They know the track is not going to be 119 degrees on Sunday.
And then the next day is 80.
And then practice. You can't practice in the same thing that you race. Is what we always find.
It's just too big of a swing.
Well, we've touched on this subject before, so I don't know if we got to go too deep
Yeah.
into it. But I think it's a work in progress. They'll get there eventually. I do believe it's just gonna take some time.
I still don't see why they don't just use real weather. I mean,
Bingo.
So let me go over my result real quick. I didn't really hit that. 17th in open, 13th in fixed. Not a great. I mean, that 13th was actually some pretty good points considering. What happened was I ran the fixed. I couldn't handle. I ran the fixed set because I couldn't handle the team set. I got that team set under me, and I kept spinning out. It was too loose, so I went to the fixed set last minute. It was slow, and this was in the open race. So everyone was faster than me. I spun it late in the race, ended up 17th. Thursday, I ran the same set, obviously, but it felt looser on Thursday for whatever reason. I ended up losing the back end out of 3, bounced off the wall. I took some cars out. I felt real bad about that. The car was not too damaged, but slow. But I had a late caution, pitted for tires, restarted 19th, got up to 13th on a late restart. So that was kind of a fun run on Thursday. I do want to mention I got yelled at under caution by Trevor Dalton and Jay Collins. They thought I had something to do with them running into each other under caution. But what happened was everyone was checking up in front of me, and I kind of checked up too and kind of darted to the right so I wouldn't run into somebody, which happened to be Trevor in front of me. And Trevor apparently ran into Jay Collins, and then he started yelling at me saying, well, Ellis was going to run into me, so I ran into you. And somehow that was my fault. So I don't know. I looked at the replay. I never touched anybody. I don't know what those guys were thinking. I have to race these guys every week, so it certainly didn't mean anything. And even though I didn't touch anybody, those guys thought I did something there, but not sure. The weekend was pretty bad. Saturday and Sunday, I wrecked. They wrecked up in front of me, and there was just no way to miss it. And Poconos feels like that's the case a lot of times, especially when you're off 3 or even off 2. The track just blocks up.
You're also on that edge of being out of control, and you're kind of just stuck in your line.
Yeah, it just seems harder at this track to miss stuff for some reason. All right. Yeah.
One other thing I'll throw out there real quick while we're on the subject of Pocono, I also got, I believe it was 1 or 2 wins in the fixed truck series this week as well. So Pocono treated me well.
Well, I would say so. You're ready for them to come back to Pocono in 6 weeks, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, good run there, Dave. All right, let's jump down the list. Next topic, Jeff.
All right, the Ford Fusion is coming to iRacing. A picture was leaked on the forums. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like an amazing, beautiful car. I might have to go buy this.
So they redid the front of the grille to match the 2016 version is really what it is. It's pretty much the same car as it was before, but it's been updated to 2016 specs, the way I understood it.
Actually, all the cars get the visual side of the low downforce and digital dashes.
Right. And that's coming up in the build tomorrow, which we're going to talk about here shortly. One thing about this picture, Jeff, I saw this picture too, and you tell me that's not a real race car. It certainly looks like it. I mean, if you look at it, you can't tell if it's real or digital.
Exactly. I mean, you can see the fine little lines of the paint. I mean, it looks amazing.
It's a very high res picture, by the way. as well. So yeah, it's hard to tell. Man, it looks great. All right, Kyle, what do you got next?
Next up on the docket would be car engineer Eric Hudek is now gone from iRacing. He was part of the original development team, and he's leaving after 7 years of service with iRacing.
Yikes, that's a key member too.
Yeah, it's gonna definitely bite because he's been around the Gen 6 car that we've all ran and
And
NIS
love.
and whatnot. Yeah, and love it. And I mean, you
He
never know.
is the Gen 6 car. I mean, he's the one who models how it handles and stuff, and the power and the downforce and all that.
Not taken away from him or anything. It could lead to something better, or it could lead to something worse. But he definitely did a great job while he was here. Thanks to him.
Well,
Yes.
on better news, he's leaving iRacing to take a position with Richard Childers Racing. So kudos to him and good luck to him in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, and Steve Myers also mentioned they're looking for his replacement. They got a guy in mind who has been recommended by Eric Hudek, who's also from the business of NASCAR. So it sounds like they're filling it with someone of similar caliber. So I don't think we need to be too worried, but this certainly could have an effect, because this guy certainly had his fingers in everything. Okay. Next up is me. We're going to talk about Watkins Glen 6 hours. They announced this, I think, earlier today. And the car list is the Corvette DP, Audi, BMW, and Mercedes rough C-Spec. Carlos, you already mentioned you want to run 2 cars, huh?
Well, it depends if we get those other 2 guys that ran with their 24 race, because they said they're up for another, endurance. So if we can get them, we might be able to run 3. Thinking of Corvette, a GT3, and a C-Spec, I'm guessing.
You count me in, but I want to run the fastest one, whichever that is.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that with you. You're gonna run the Corvette, and then from there on, I guess we'll decide. We gotta see what's going on, but yeah, I actually like the car list there. The C-Spec's gonna be a fun addition.
Right. And how is that in speed compared to those other ones?
Well, it has pretty much identical straight line speed to the GT3s, but the cornering, it's the slowest of the 3.
All right. And it looks like the event is June 25th, which is that right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, June 25th is a Saturday, so
yeah, we're gonna try to run that.
2 weeks from Saturday. Yep. Well, you've got to get organized if we're only a couple weeks out. So
Yeah.
Good thing we mentioned that. If you guys are running it, get going.
Yeah, I should have a set for the Corvette.
All right. Jeff, what's up next?
iRacing.com will be coming down for deployment of the 2016 Season 3 release. The maintenance will affect all iRacing.com regions and members. Will be unable to host or join sessions. We've been through this before. Let's see here what else. The downtime schedule should be Tuesday. Looks
tomorrow.
Like,
so
yeah,
it'll probably be done by most people when they listen to this as a podcast. So yeah, we're recording this the night before the downtime. And the highlights there, Jeff, listed on the next page there. Imola, a new track is coming. We got the NASCAR new spoiler, the NASCAR Ford new front end, and the digital dashes for the NASCAR. And don't forget, you can do the testdrive.iracing.com during the downtime.
The dynamic track service now includes dust and gravel. That'd be kind of neat.
Yep.
Oh, I can't go off-roading anymore during the races. Gosh.
And it says it will affect tire grip, which I don't know if that's new or not.
I think it is.
It all sounds new.
Yeah, I believe what I heard about it is if somebody goes off track, they can throw dirt on the track, and then the next time you come into that turn or whatever, if you go over that dirt, it could upset your car. So it adds a little bit of realism to it.
Right.
They've also said they've added the ability to retrieve more accurate statistics on incident points for all racers, even in replay mode. So that should be helpful.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they could only get the net code portion of it headed in the right direction as well. I know it's difficult and they're trying, but there's still a bit of a gap to be bridged there.
Yes.
And then the final note, all new installations of iRacing will now default to DirectX 11.
Right. So DirectX 9 is optional still, and it's not phased out completely, but if you were to start, it would assume you're doing DirectX 11. And they did do some more support with Oculus Rift is now supported with DirectX 11 in this build, so a lot of people waiting for that. Is there anything else in the actual release notes you want to cover? I mean, we just covered the highlights of the build, but there's actually a lot of stuff there, guys. It's the 3-month build. There's a lot of little fixes. If you want to go through the release notes, go find them. There's a lot of stuff there, but we hit the big ones anyway.
Me personally, I've been kind of waiting for the digital dashes. Been waiting for a pretty good while for them, but I'm pretty happy with the way it's going. They put in a lot of work into it, and that's what that's why I keep coming around, because they keep improving it and making it better. And just like I think it was Dave, no, it might have been Cal saying that the dirt, that's pretty cool. That is awesome. I like that.
Yeah, I've seen the digital dash. There is a track bar gauge. Do not get your hopes up. I don't know of any track bar controls that are coming of yet.
And it's still a question in my mind anyway on these dashes. Are you going to be able to cycle between different ones with a button or something?
Yeah, I
I don't
believe
know.
they said it was on an F8 box, so I'd assume while being in the sim and I guess you could say on the track, you could change between the 3 options we are given.
Cool. Yeah, exciting. I'm ready for the next build for sure.
Yep.
All right, that means what, Kyle? Week 13.
Week 13, where they have the tube frame twister. They're putting the Aston Martin DBR9 and the Corvette C6R GT1 cars up against the Radical SR8 late model Monte Carlo, super late model, and the Streak Shock Chevy from Monza and Watkins Glen to the Charlotte Road Course.
Oh man, the late models are a blast at all them tracks.
Oh, yes.
With the Corvette out there too? That's crazy.
Seems like it's going to be a lot of power and speed.
Yeah, I just want to be in the fastest one. But that kind of looks like fun, doesn't it?
It'd be fun to take super late model around.
And that particular one, the tube frame twister, I believe is non-official, so it doesn't affect your IR or SR.
So that's going to be something like the Carburetor Cup is.
Right, it's just for the week 13.
The only thing in week 13 I am looking forward to is the build. That's going to include the digital dash. I'm looking forward to that, obviously, and Michigan. Other than that, I'm going to treat it as an off week and not do a lot of extracurricular activities and just do my NIS open races. Maybe I'll attempt the fix, and that'll be it for week 13 for me.
I second that one.
Okay. All right, next up, next topic I'll hit is, oh, you missed one there, Kyle. There's one more. The Figure 8 is racing on week 13.
Oh yes, I did miss that. The Figure 8 will return with the Audi R8 the BMW
God.
Z4 and the Mercedes AMG GT3. And once the new build is released, they'll be running the World Series of Renault at Imola.
The new track.
Sounds pretty cool.
That might be fun. All right, next topic. iRace for Life seminar. Remember they had this recently, and there was all YouTube videos coming. Well, one of them came out as the interview of Russell Hodgson of Z1 Dashboard. We always talk about Z1 Dashboard. A lot of us use it, third-party software. And he did an interview there, and it's a nice interview over on YouTube. And if you want to learn more about that product, I'd probably recommend watching that. And he talks about the different, functionality and different things it does. It's a good introduction to the software. That's by Inside Sim Racing. Jeff, what else did they put up?
They put up an iRacing. David Carter and Ray Alfalfa put up A Car Advanced iRace for Life. It's a video of them doing a setup class, and then they start with the base setup of Texas, and they go into advanced tuning of the setup.
Can they ever pick a different track to do this on?
I don't think it really matters so much. I don't think it so much matters as a track as it does that anybody that struggles with building setups and making in-car adjustments during the race. If you struggle with that stuff and you watch that video, it can help you really wrap your head around being able to at least build yourself something solid, stable to run during a race. I personally watched the video a few times, and I thought they touched on a lot of good topics in that race to help some of these, especially these newer guys that are just coming into the service.
I think them choosing Texas is, one, mile and a halves are always the popular go-to for everybody, and two, given the location of where they do the seminar.
Yeah, they're in Texas.
That could be why.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sure both of those have some sort of factor into why they do it that way. I'd be curious to see them do, just once, touch on the road course side of things with these stock cars, just to kind of see what you do on a road course to get those cars to handle.
I don't know. Could David Cater set up a road course car? I assume he could. I'm
sure he could set up anything with four wheels if you give him the time.
Yeah, he's very well educated. You can tell by the way he talks. I watched, I'll admit, only the first part of the video because I kind of got lost after a little bit. It just kind of went right over my head.
I watched the whole video, and for anybody, if you're a person that's advanced in building a setup or just starting out, there's probably something in there that you could take away from. Sit there and watch the whole video. And the way I actually did it, and it worked out very well for me, I actually built my second Pocono setup off of this information after I watched the video. So if you would go and watch the whole video and take notes if you have to, but take in that information and then immediately go into a test on track session and start applying that information that you just learned, you are bound to find something that you didn't know. And it'll help out a lot.
Well, you had a good run at Pocono, so, man, maybe it has a correlation there.
Yeah,
Not to
exactly.
mention, there was a thing that he touched on really right there towards the beginning of the video that could really help a lot of what we talked about earlier with these guys that are going 4 wide into turn 1 at Pocono. They were
All right, well, we lost your mic there, Kyle.
They're putting these guys that are going into these turns and they're late breakers, hard breakers going in, well, you're putting more weight on that right front tire, you're going to wear it off quicker. And these guys are just holding back and rolling it into the turn. After 10 or 15 laps, you wonder why they're passing you so much. And that's why, you gotta learn some throttle control is what this new build is all about, is more throttle control, less hard running.
There ain't no
Yeah, if you
throttle
don't get run
control.
over.
Getting on throttle, there's none. Yeah, because if you're late to the throttle, you're gonna lose time no matter what. But entry, it's huge. It's a great bit of information there.
So you watch part of it too, Carlos?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying what I experience when I drive.
Right. Yeah, it is good information. The guys obviously know what they're doing,
Well, after all, it's not a champion for nothing.
After watching that video, I know a little bit better of what I'm doing.
All right. Well, that's good stuff there. Check that out. Inside Sim Racing YouTube channel. Hardware. Kyle, what's up first?
First is the single curve monitor. If going single, is it a good idea versus flat?
So, yeah, it was an interesting question in the forum somebody brought up, but, hey, I'm staying single. I'm not going to triples. Should I get a curved versus flat? What do you guys think?
Depends what you do.
I don't see a downfall to it, but my personal take is it's still not going to be better than triple monitors. You're not really going to get a wider viewing angle out of it. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I think the difference between a flat and a curved isn't going to be very significant.
Yeah. The other thing I posted this in here for was part of the conversation as you scroll down through this thread is this guy Chin Thankful from Australia. He put up pictures of his rig where he has a single 34-inch curved widescreen monitor, and it's one of those ultra wides that we've talked about previously, and I've always wondered what iRacing looks like on it, and this gives you a good shot. It's a very limited view. The FOV is really bad.
Not too bad.
So really, it's not getting any closer to a triple screen experience doing it that way, correct?
No, not at all, because you're still running the game as a flat screen.
To be honest, it looks a lot like, let's say, I'm going to say 1024 1280 monitors. It looks like two of them stacked together, so you're still missing out on the extra width no matter what.
Yep. There's no value at all in these ultra wide monitors
Until we get wider.
as far as iRacing goes that I've seen. But people have questions and stuff, and we always talk about it. So okay, moving on. AMD has announced their new card in response to last week we talked about the GTX 1080 and 1070 cards by NVIDIA. So AMD has announced a $200 Radeon RX 480 video card that gets gamers virtual reality ready. So have you taken a look at this?
I personally haven't, because I just personally upgraded to the 390X.
Yeah, so now they got the RX 480, and it's what I would call an entry-level card that really gets you enough horsepower to run Oculus Rift and that kind of stuff.
Well, it's pretty much like AMD's been for years. They may not have the most powerful stuff out there, but their price per their performance per dollar or whatever is really, really good.
Right. And it's half the price of the 1070. They also mentioned that the card is also roughly as capable as NVIDIA's $330 R9 390 from last year.
AMD's 390.
Right. So lots of video cards new on the market from both companies right now. So lots to choose from. Carlos, were you going to move on the 1070 or what?
I'm still with the 1070. I just gotta wait for it.
Oh, you ordered it.
No, I haven't ordered it yet. Can't find one anywhere.
Oh, okay. So you still have the availability problem.
Oh yeah.
All right. And you were waiting for the companies to announce their own versions too, right?
Yep. More aftermarket stuff.
Right. Cool. All right, Jeff, what do you got next?
We're going back to that with Chen about the single 34-inch curved monitor. I mean, he states that he wishes that he kept the triple 27s. He said it's great, but he's missing a lot of his field of view. And he just received a Rift CV1 and hoping to try that out soon. With the field of view and monitors, this is not my specialty. I mean, Mike.
That's the same one topic we just hit on above.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yep. Okay. We can move on past that. Kyle, what's next?
Next would be the recent Windows 10 update that installed the Logitech download assistant. That's caused a lot of problems for people that are running Logitech wheels, and the steps to do to fix it so that it identifies your wheel correctly on your system.
Yeah, I think we mentioned this last week that it was a problem, but we didn't mention a solution. And I can say it real in a sentence here what the solution is. If you go Start menu, right click on My Computer, and go to Manage. There you have the Device Manager, and in there you'll see the wheel, and you can like hit right click, Update Driver Software. That's how you update drivers, and that's really the solution. Don't uninstall anything. Don't reinstall anything. Just go into the Windows Device Manager and update the drivers there. That's really the answer. Okay. And that wraps up hardware and our show. So let's go through final thoughts. Let's go through the room. Kyle, you're up first.
Oh, I'm looking forward to getting out of Pocono. And like my brother said earlier, I'm looking forward to a vacation, as I do every week 13. I try not to dump a bunch of SR and IR during week 13, so I will stick with open and fixed race at Michigan and take the rest of the week off to recoup for another 12 weeks.
10-4 there. Dave, final thoughts.
Yeah, just once again, looking forward to going back to Pocono and going to Michigan, and hopefully I'll have a good week. Hopefully a couple of you other guys will have a better week, and looking forward to this new build coming out tomorrow, the Digital Dash. I've been waiting and talking about that for a couple weeks now, so I'll be happy to finally experience that. And then we move on to Sonoma. That'll be fun. But just looking forward to doing some racing.
Well, there you go. Dalton, England, final thoughts.
I'd like to thank you guys for letting me come on here tonight, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this new update coming tomorrow. It's always a good time to see what iRacing's been working on, the past 3 months, or something they've been working on for a while, and getting to try out new stuff. They're always on top of the stuff, and I give them an A+ for their efforts. Definitely a great thing, and looking forward to Michigan.
All right. Very good. Thanks for coming. And hey, you're welcome anytime. Just let us know, and we'll have you on. It's definitely a panel discussion. So, yeah, you're welcome anytime. Jonas Hankins, final thoughts.
Final thoughts is that the new build, I've been waiting for it since the last one, personally, but yeah, Michigan's coming up. I'm pretty good at Michigan. I like the big tracks like that, Talladega, Daytona. and of course Michigan. But yeah, that was I'm glad that the digital dashboard is coming, and like I said earlier, it's just getting better. So yeah, man.
All right, very good. Hope you have a good run there. Jeff Walton, what do you got?
Ready for Michigan, ready for the new build. Hope we don't get a race 22 error. And I'm ready for week 13. I finally got my D road license and need to get it up some more to try to do some endurance racing with my guys.
Yeah, keep building it. You'll get there. Carlos Fonseca, what do you got?
For what? Oh, final thoughts?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Looking forward to the next 3 tracks because, well, this whole stretch here is probably the best chance I have of getting either a win or a really decent finish. So looking forward to all that. And plus, might as well mention this, as everyone knows here probably, I do these track guides every week, right? I'm adding another series, titling it iRacing Advanced Driving School. Just basically, the first episode was for beginners, but I'm going to get into more things people may or may not know. So if you're struggling with some more stuff, I guess I'll go ahead and get to that.
Oh boy, you're a busy guy. That sounds like it's going to be nice. Okay, and then my final thoughts are I'm running a new paint job, and I want to thank the guy who painted it for me. What was his name? Oh yeah, Justin Michael, an iRacer named Justin Michael. Hit him up on Facebook. He was making paints that were gun related or gun manufacturer related sponsors. And as you all know, I'm a gun nut. And so I asked him to make me a paint that references my new gun I just purchased recently, the Springfield Armory XDS 3.3 inch 40 caliber. And he did that, and it looks absolutely great. I ran it last night. It didn't bring me any luck. I still got wrecked, but looking forward to running this new paint. Of course, we got iRacers Lounge on the side of it as well. So thank you to Justin Michael. My other shout out is to Jacob Daniel Govatos. Last week, when we put out the episode titled "It's Too Long," he wins the award for saying, "That's what she said" first when we sent out that episode. So I kind of knew somebody would say that when we titled it "It's Too Long." And of course, Jacob Daniel Gavatos jumped on Facebook, I think within the first 7 minutes of posting the episode, and he put up, "That's what she said."
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, and then finally, Matt on our team, Matt Boley, is organizing a truck series for 2017 to follow the Real Truck Series schedule. It'll probably run on Saturday nights. It'll be adminned by Tifosi Racing and so forth. So kudos to Matt for getting that started. It's starting to get organized. We haven't started recruiting, but we've gotten rules together and so forth. So look forward to more information on that. So with that, thank you so much. We want to hear from our listeners. We actually heard from several listeners last week. So make sure to hit us up if you have a topic or give us a comment or that kind of thing, and we'll cover it and let you guys know. So with that, we'll see you next week. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Have a good week.
Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast. Make sure to go subscribe to us at our YouTube channel at iRacers Lounge. Follow on Twitter and Facebook at iRacers Lounge and SoundCloud at iRacers Lounge. See you on the track.